So continuing, I'm using the move brush with a medium-sized brush, and I'm just coming down here from the underside, making sure that I get the jaw line out a little bit. All right. This guy has a very wide jaw, and that might be a little bit too much. All right. I'm going to bring the jawline down a little bit to try and match the jawline here. We can see that the jaw goes up and then up right there. Let me do that again. Sorry, coming down here and then across. Okay, that's his jawline right there. So we want to get something like that in our model. All right. Let me pull that out a bit. So all this is sort of reshaping our model. Okay, trying to get a good head and skull shape in here, as well as sort of establishing where the features are. Again, I'm going to use my arrow keys. And we can see we're pretty close to the jawline right here. I'm going to pull some of this out a little bit. Okay, move some of these eyes right there, move those up a bit. Maybe make my draw size a little smaller. Now I can use these over here, the scroll, zoom, and actual, to help me see this a little bit better. So if I scroll this over and then click on zoom and bring that in, I can see that I can line this up a little bit better to the eye. Now this is going to be changed a little bit later anyway, but this just helps me to see, get in closer. Alright, I can scroll this up a bit and take a look at how I'm doing on the nose here. Okay, again, I'm still just using my move brush. Alright, just play with the lips a little bit here. Okay. Now when I want to go back to where I was, I can just hit actual. Alright. And I'm going to hit my arrow key and send it over here. Have another look. Alright. I can see that I can pull the lips out a little bit. I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. Alright, so now I'm ready to subdivide my model. I'm going to go ahead and up my opacity. Okay, now for me to subdivide my model, I need to just pull back a bit, hit Control and Shift, and bring back the entire model. Come over to Geometry, and hit Divide. Alright, now I've divided the model. I've got two subdivision levels, 3,269 in the first one. Remember, if I hit D, I can step up 13,000 polygons. Now that's for the entire model. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Shift, click on the body, click on it again to isolate the head. All right. Again with my arrow keys. All right. So again on the nose here, I'm going to lower this, and I want to get right in here, and I might need to actually subdivide the model one more time. So I'm going to just go ahead and bring back the body, divide it again. Remember, Control D will divide it. All right. Control Shift, click on the body again to isolate the head. Use the arrow keys. All right. Now again, I'm going to lower the opacity. I'm going to scroll over and zoom in, and I'm still using my move brush. I'm just going to, now if I move my model by mistake, again I can use my arrow keys, and now just get right in there and start pulling some of this out. Okay, I want to get that brow right there, so I'm just going to pull this model back a bit and look at it from up here. I'm just going to pull this brow out. He's got a very pronounced brow line. Okay, so again, if I hit my arrow keys, you can see I'm getting pretty close. All right, So let me pull some more of this out, and I'm going to have to beef that up a bit more. All right, let me up my opacity here. Whoops. And if you make a mistake like I just did there, you can always Z back, all right, just like in other 3D applications. Zing back works. All right, let me pull some of this down a bit. And again with my arrow keys, and now I can see I'm pretty good there. I'm pretty close. I got a bit of a bump on his nose that I want to bring up. Tuck that in, bring that out. Okay. All right, so if I go back and forth, almost like a flip book, you can see how that's kind of lining up. The brow is a little bit thick, but that's okay. I'm going to go back and hit actual just to bring that back a bit. Okay. So at this point now, I can start adding some clay. All right. Just to start building up the bony features of the head. The zygomatic arch, the brows a bit more, the jaw line, okay? So let me go ahead to my clay tubes brush, all right? And again, I have that set to number 3 on my keyboard. This smaller brush, and now I can start adding some clay and building up that brow line, all right? Building up the zygomatic bone a little bit right here, all right? This area right here, I'm going to build that up. And again, remember, we're not looking for you to do an exact likeness, although that would be wonderful. It takes some time to develop that skill. Okay. So again, I'm going to hold down my shift button, which again is smooth. I'm going to adjust my smooth Z intensity, knock that down, and just lightly smooth some of these bony areas I'm starting to build up. Okay. So again, I can adjust my smooth intensity if it's not strong enough. And I can use my move brush, again, with a larger brush, to help get that into place. Okay. I'm going to go back to my clay tubes brush here, the smaller brush, and just define this jawline a bit more. Okay, smooth it out as I go. I'm adding clay and then I smooth it out. Okay, so you can see that that's starting to get really beefy. Now this character, Randy Couture, is a little bit different than most people. His features are very pronounced, probably from being punched in the face so many times. Okay, so let me build up some more cheeks here. While I'm at it, I'm just going to add, just for interest's sake, the nasolabial fold, which is often called the laugh line. Okay, so I'm just going to, using my clay tubes, I'm just going to build up that area a bit. A common mistake is to have that come right over and touch the corner of the mouth, but it starts just above the nostril, and down. All right, and I'm going to smooth that out. And like I was saying earlier, we're not looking for an exact likeness, just something that has proper anatomy and proper features and proper proportions. Okay, so you can see as I start building this up, it's starting to have a really nice form and shape to it. All right, it's actually starting to look, pretty human, starting to have a little bit of character. All right. So also for the back of the head, I want to do a little bit more shaping here. I'm going to use my move topological brush again. I'm going to hit Shift D to go down in subdivision levels. And maybe on level 2, I'll just step up there. Move my model back a bit and just sort of reshape the back of this head. Now remember that just behind the ears is the fattest part of the skull. Okay. And I'm going to step up to level 3. Smooth this out right here. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to bring my model back and subdivide the model one more time. Control Shift, click off the model, divide. All right. Control Shift, click on the model, and click again to isolate the head. All right. So that's some basic shaping. All right, with proper proportions. I'm going to come in here and just really quickly with my clay tubes brush, I'm just going to come in here and holding down Alt, I'm going to cut away a little bit on the back of the head here. Okay, right where the skull and the neck meet right here. Okay, there's a little bit of a sort of divot on the back of the skull that goes up behind the ears. I'm going to make my brush a little bigger, hold down Shift, and just smooth that out. All right, we start to get a nice organic feel for the back of the head there. All right, and there's usually a little bit of a lumpy thing right back there, if you feel on the back of your head there, okay? So let me just cut this out a bit more. All right, again, I'm cutting that out using my clay tubes brush. I'm smoothing it back down. Okay, so we start to get a nice organic feel for that. All right, in our next video, I'm going to come back and I'm going to start working the nose and mouth, as well as continue to shape the head, neck, and shoulders.